like to welcome to the program. I want to say Assalamu alaikum. I'm El Haj Hassim Abdullah Babatu here with a very, very special guest. All not being educated. It is the biggest reason why we see such a disparity in the haves and the have-nots. Because most of, we call the have-nots are being lack of education, and it's not always school, but it's being educated just in life, in religion. There's so many things when we speak education. And I always tell people, even though some of us don't go to school and get PhDs or master's, bachelor, we're all educated because we have a way to educate people in all facets of life. So what does your duties or your responsibility as being the principal of the high school tell?
Thank you very, very much.
You're very welcome.
Brother Hassim Babatu. Like you rightly said, education in all sense is very essential for us as a community or as human beings. And right from the beginning of Islam, as you are aware, the Prophet of Islam, Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, has encouraged believers to pursue education to all levels. And that should not be limited to any particular section by age or by tribe or color. He says everybody. And that from the birth to the time you enter your grave, education should always be part of you. So as Muslims, therefore, there are no excuses for us as far as the pursuit of education is concerned. The Jamaatul Ahmadiyya, when it started spreading out to various places, especially in Africa, the Jamaat felt that education was lacking seriously in those areas of the world. And so, in addition to the propagation of Islam in terms of preaching for people to know what Islam is, the Jamaat also felt the need to start the establishment of educational institutions like schools, starting from kindergarten, primary, up to junior secondary school, up to the senior high schools. And in addition to that too, the Jamaat also felt you can't only be educated, but you must also be provided with health services. So hospitals were also established in addition to the educational establishments. This brought about the establishment of schools, and the school I'm currently heading, as you rightly said, is Tiamode Senior High School. It is the pioneer secondary school established by the Jamaat in 1950 in Ghana. So, 1950, that is an old school. It's one of the oldest schools we have in the country, therefore. Currently, we have a student population of almost 4,000, and out of them, more than half are boarders. In other words, they stay in the school, we cook for them, we take care of them, they sleep there, they learn. Only holidays time they go home, but holidays are over, they return to the school. Then the others are day students, that is daily, they come to school and learn and go back to their homes. The school is a public school in the sense that what are taught there is the same thing that are taught in other public schools. So a child or a student can pursue educational studies through into the highest level you can think of. So the school has therefore produced many, both Ghanaian and non-Ghanaians who have gone through the hands of the school. Imagine a school established in 1950. So in almost every aspect of life, both in the country and outside the country, you will find products of the school, be they engineers, medical doctors, scientists, pilots, military officers, all the level, politicians, teachers, all of them, you can get them who have gone through the school to acquire those. So that is the type of school I'm currently heading as a principal. And we try our best as a religious organization to ensure that there is high level of discipline in the school, so that we make the students understand that it is not just a matter of acquiring knowledge alone, but knowledge must go with other ingredients to make it refined and complete. And the other ingredient is that you must know that you have a creator in this world that you must submit yourself to, and then worship as you are required to. You must know that you are not alone in this world. You are here with other human beings and you have it as an obligation to worship your God and provide service to your fellow human beings and live in peaceful, in a happy way with your fellow human beings so that you achieve the purpose for which you are created in this world here. So if you ask me to say something little about the school that I'm currently heading, for now, these are the few things I will say, but as the discussion goes on, other areas will come up.
So the school is basically open even to non-Ahmadis.
Very good.
Wow.
Yes, as I said, the school is a public school now. In other words, it is both funded by the government, the central government of the country, and then the Jamaats. That is the Ahmadiyya Jamaat. So it's open to all. We don't discriminate based on religion, on race, or anything. You will go through the examination that is required for you to gain admission into the school. And once you are qualified, the central government has a system by which they take qualified students into schools of such standards, and you are brought in there and you go through your studies smoothly. I'm happy to also mention that it's a category A school. In other words, it's one of the leading schools in the country. We have category A, B, C, and D in the country. And Ahmadiyya Senior High School in Kumasi is one of the category A schools, leading in academics, leading in sports and other forms. That's all. That's all. Go.
Yeah. And and that's really nice, how you said that it's open to all walks of life, non-Ahmadis, Ahmadis, non-Muslims, things of that nature, because in America, the school system is different. It's so, well, the public schools, anybody goes to. Then you start getting some of these private schools, it's a matter of your income sometimes. That's the only thing that's going to allow you in there. And it will stop an individual that comes from the inner city, whose family can't afford to pay for him to get a better education. He can't attend that school. And this is some of the things that is really lacking here in America that is stopping, as we call the have-nots, from being educated. Where the have, who have everything, their kids are going to get the best educations, go to the best schools, so they're going to be prepared for life. Whereas another person, he's going to go, especially here in America, what happened, the public school system, a lot of the books that they have are the same books that my parents had in the 50s. That's right. So it's no change. And I've noticed when my kids were in school in the 80s and the 90s, and I looked, I said, wow, these are the same books that I had. Now I see my grandkids with these same books, so they're not learning at a pace that keeps up with society. That's right. So has the curriculum changed or the books changed in Ahmadiyya over the 50 years or 50 plus years that education has been going on over there?
Very good. Thank you for that. Indeed, a lot of changes have taken place as a result of the pace of development that we have around us. So the school has also kept pace with those new requirements of education. So over the years, as I said, in Ghana, the curriculum is controlled by a central body, which is known as the Ghana Education Service, GES short. Okay. Every 5 years, they review it and then put in things that are new to be inside and take out things that are felt to be archaic or out of use. In line with that, they produce books which meet the standards of the current needs of the society. Every 5 years, these are reviewed. And once the revision is done and these are produced, they are given to the school so that the students are made to keep with pace as far as developments are concerned. Now, it is so with Ghana and other places that there is the problem of the ability to go through educational pursuits, especially at the secondary school level, because as you may be aware, in African countries, quite a good number of the people are living below the poverty line. So it is not easy to get their children to pursue education at the higher level. Now, government has observed that this is indeed a stumbling block as far as letting all citizens of the country enjoy education. So currently, as I speak in Ghana, the government has introduced what is known as the free senior high school, where it is now the responsibility of governments to take up totally, and total in quotes, government takes up totally the cost of education from parents. So tuition is taken care of by government, books are provided by government, feeding is done by government, shelter is provided by government, and all other educational materials that are needed for the child, the Ghanaian child, for that matter, to go through education. So in Ghana currently, there is no excuse that because of poverty, a parent cannot send the ward to the school. What the parent only has to do is just to prepare with the basic necessities, like maybe getting 1 or 2 shirts for the fellow, some sandals, and some few preparations. But even to the extent that school uniforms are provided by the government, house dresses are provided by the government feeds the students at the school level. So with this development, therefore, it has brought about a lot of students whom either will not have had access to education, now gaining access to education. It started only a year ago, and in its second year, the increase has become so much so that over 181,000 students have qualified to enter into second cycle education, in other words, the secondary school level, and the facilities are not available to cater for that. It is because of this new policy which has increased the intake at a very high level. So the government has to address this new challenge because the people have qualified, they are ready for it. What does the government have to do? So the government has introduced something currently in Ghana which is known as the double tracking system, where, yes, all have qualified, but all cannot go to school at the same time because of the limitation of facilities. So government will has divided those who have qualified into 2. One group will go at a time, spend 40 days, then go on a break, and the other group will come and spend 40 days and also go on a break. And it is run on the semester basis, so that at any given time, there are some group of students in the educational institution pursuing their courses, so that nobody is kept out, but government has made us aware that this is a temporary measure. As they're doing this, they are trying to quickly bring about more educational infrastructure like classrooms and all the necessities that are required, so that with time we shall go back to our normal educational system. But we would have addressed this current challenge that is facing us as a country. So maybe that is a new development that is quite challenging but very interesting in Ghana, because a lot of parents have seen that it has come to relieve them, either to those who could not afford, and so their children are found on the streets and engaged in other things without pursuing education, now are relieved because their wards or children are able to go through the educational system as a result of the provision that was made by the government. And they did that in fulfillment of a campaign promise. And it was one of the reasons that made the current government in Ghana win the election, that when they win, they will introduce free senior high school. So government therefore is obliged, and they are doing everything possible for that program to succeed.
Man, that's beautiful to see that at least in Ghana that the politicians back up what they say, because here in America what happened, a politician will say that, and that guy will serve 2, 3, 4 terms and never fulfill any of the promises, especially when it comes to education, because most of them look at it and say, well, my kids aren't going to the public schools, or he's not going to that charter school or this school over here, so they really don't care about that. And that's very, very unfortunate. And again, man, I like how you explained that, where a 40-day period when these are read, and then when they take their little break, these other 40 people, now they get to come in. So these are things that America can adopt. And that is why we in America are lacking again in our knowledge, and our children not being prepared for the real world. You know, there's too much TV is one of the biggest things what we worry about here, right here. So many distractions here in America. And, you know, you see a lot of the parents, like my parents, for instance. My mother only had a 3rd grade education. She only went to school when it rained. She picked cotton for a living. But at the age of 36, she went back and got her GED, which is the graduate equivalent of a diploma. And then she got a nursing degree and worked 30 years as a registered nurse. So this is in the 70s. That's why when I hear students today that tell me they can't do anything, I always use my mother as an example. Don't tell me that you have more resources here to go out and get an education versus what my mother had and my mother did. But see, what happened is that family structure here in America, where the parents are out trying to do their thing, so they're not monitoring the children if they're going to school, they're getting work done. If the teacher tries to call and try to say, hey, your kid is failing this, failing in that. Parents do not make an effort to come and see what they can do at home to help these children out. Do you have any problems like that in Ghana with children that are not excelling, that can or are being distracted by social media and other things?
Thank you very much. You know, the world is a global village, as it's said now. So problems that are in America are easily also in areas like Africa and Ghana in particular. So in our system, for example, we have come to identify the fact that these modern gadgets like the mobile phones, the tablets, the TVs and stuff like that, are generally good. But it appears the students have not matured enough to understand the usage of such things while pursuing their education. In other words, they give more attention to these gadgets as against their books that they are supposed to learn. So what therefore is currently happening in Ghana is that children are not allowed during school periods to use mobile phones.
Wow.
It is because study has shown that they dedicate more of their time to the mobile phone as against what they are supposed to learn. Especially the mobile phone providers have made it in such a way that in the night it's virtually free. And so the student, instead of either learning in the night or sleeping adequately so that he can be in school the following morning, will spend the whole night fidgeting with the mobile phone and doing whatever you can think of. So our educational system, though we see these gadgets as very essential to modern development, you can't do without it. But for now, we think it is not ripe enough for our students to use it. So we've told them during school hours, it is not allowed. When you are coming to school as a boarder, don't bring mobile phone to the school. Leave those things at home. During your holiday period, you can have them and do whatsoever stuff you want to do with them. But while you are in school, it is not allowed. And if a student is caught with a mobile phone, the mobile phone is seized and then kept somewhere. When they are about going on break, the mobile phone is given to him or her and warned not to again bring it to school because it's against the law. If the next time it is repeated again and collected, then the mobile phone is no more given to the student as a check on them. So this has, to a large extent, helped a lot of them to form that understanding that this stage of their life is for learning. And so they should concentrate on their books for now and allow these things to stay away from their life for the time being. When the time is up for them to be exposed to it, they will have it. So you will see those of them who have completed school and come back to the school for their certificates or whatsoever reason that brings them to the school. They'll be holding 2, 3 mobile phones and will be telling those who are currently at school that see him. Only yesterday he was in school here and was not allowed to use. But today look at the number he's holding and nobody is bothering about him because now he's free. He has passed that level and he can now use those things there. So to some extent, the students who have understood and they are cooperating with the system. Though, you know, these are very attractive things. So despite the fact that you try to put measures in place to check them here and there, some few recalcitrant ones will try to find their way to also do what they think is right for them. So yes, those challenges are there in Ghana as they are in America here. But we look at our system and accept the fact that certain times you need to be a bit rigid, a bit hard on the student in order to correct him or her. Because softness always will not let the student learn what he or she is supposed to know. So we therefore introduce measures that are there to guide the student, and we make them know that at this level of your life, you need to be guided, you need to be washed over, you need to be directed. So succumb to the orders that are given you because we are preparing you to be better matured for your future life. So when we get them disobeying or going out of bounds, we correct them. Sometimes the correction could take the form of punishing them, giving them grounds where to do, letting them stay out of the classroom for some time to learn some lesson out of it, making them go to scrub their bathrooms. That's generally the laborers or some section of students will do it. All these are punitive measures that we have introduced just to let them understand that they need to do the right thing. And to a large extent, it is helping us.
Yeah, and that's one of the things in America. They try to implement that same thing, telling children that they can't have cell phones in the school, but they bring them in anyway. And I see some schools what they do, they will seize them and say, we'll keep them to the end of the school year. Or either most of them say, we'll keep it to the end of the day and give it back to you. Now, but the guy, he still brings it back the next day and still in school. So, and that's something we need to crack down here in America even more on all these mobile devices, all these intelligent, smartphones and things of that nature. Because it is good, to have the internet at your fingertips, but at what cost? Because again, some kids fail because they're on social media, or somebody's texting them, or somebody's sending them some YouTube video, so they're more focused on that than what the teacher's telling. Here's the assignment, and these are the things we want to do. And then somebody, they depend on this person. Hey man, what you say? Well, I don't listen either. Now, what do? You weren't listening. The person you depended on wasn't listening. Now you both failed. That's right. Yeah. So, but again, man, that's very, very beautiful. And we just have challenges, like you say, all around the world, because the youth are our future. If we don't prepare them, humanity is going to be at a loss. That's right. We're truly, truly going to be at a loss. So. That's right. Now, also, before you became the principal here, what other things were you in education elsewhere in Ghana?
Yep. My life, I was trained as a missionary by the Jamaat. Yes. And I worked for quite a number of years in the field as a missionary, fully active in the field as missionary, until at some stage I was given the opportunity to continue with my education to the university level. I did that and completed, and after I completed, I was at the headquarters working with Amir Abu Wahab bin Adam, may his soul rest in peace. He passed on some few years ago. The Amir, a missionary in charge of Ghana then. I worked with him for some couple of years, and somewhere along the line, he attached me to one of our senior high school, secondary schools in Ghana. So I was doing dual tasks. While working at the headquarters, I was also teaching there. And after some time, they said, no, I should go and pursue studies in education because they want me to focus on education. So I had to go back to the university again to do my master's in education and then completed it successfully. Then they appointed me to go to one of our schools far away in the northern part of the country. Coincidentally, that was the school that was headed by our current spiritual leader, so I was made to go there. The place is called Salaga. Okay. I stayed there and then worked as headmaster of the school for 11 years solid. Wow. Yeah, the place, yes, 11 years. Wow. The place is quite deprived. Even when I was there, it was quite deprived. So you can imagine the Khalifa was there 20 years, heated to my going there. Wow. And when I went there, I said the place was deprived. So I usually would consider them what was his situation when he was there. Wow. Yes. But thank God, we went and did the best we could over there. We were able to bring up the school to a very high standards, both academic expansion. The school expanded very well. It was attractive to the public. And it was really on the pace of high level of progress when the mission once more decided that there was going to be a reshuffle of the heads of the school, and I was made to come to the current school, Kumasi Senior High School, as the current principal there. And since we've been there, by the grace of God, we are working, and the school is moving and then progressing in all aspects.
Wow, alhamdulillah. And those of you know, alhamdulillah means all praise to Allah. When you hear us say that, don't get Brother Abu Bakr bin Said when we say some Islamic terms. Hey, but also I have the ability today, if you would like to ask questions to Imam Abu Bakr, you can call us at 800-949-4752, and that's extension 735. Again, 800-949-4752, extension 735. I'll give the number one more time. That's 800-949-4752, extension 735. If you have any questions, feel free to give a call and ask Imam Abu Bakr the question that you have. So So again, now I remember some time ago you came to the U.S. and I think you traveled to New York and some places and you talked about education to some of those some of the states, cities I know that you went to. Have you did anything international? Went to any other countries outside the U.S. and talked about education?
Yeah. Currently, I'm the vice president of the Headmasters Association in Ghana, known as CHARS.
Okay.
CHARS is an acronym that stands for Conference of Heads of Assisted Senior High Schools in Ghana.
Okay.
And our membership is 700 plus.
Okay.
In other words, we have over 700 secondary schools in Ghana.
Wow.
And each head of the school is a member of this body.
Mm-hmm.
So by virtue of that position, I find myself traveling all over. Within Ghana and outside Ghana on educational matters. Barely 3 weeks ago, I was in Ireland.
Okay.
And there we met at Killarney Island to deliberate on educational matters. It was an international council meeting that we came together to look at issues that is affecting education globally and to share ideas. And it was a very interesting encounter we had over there. Aside of that, many other places we have traveled to: Australia, Canada, Lesotho, South Africa, all those places. Periodically, we do those travels to meet as heads or representatives of our countries to look at educational issues, matters that are of common interest, how we discuss and address them, and challenges that we think are hindering the smooth progress of education. We come out with policies and advise our government on how they can work through those things to make education accessible, easy for all people. So on a daily basis, we are on the move as far as educational matters are concerned.
Now, see, another problem we have in America at a lot of the schools is we have the student athlete, where students are given scholarships because they're good athletes and things of that nature. They attend these colleges on this scholarship, on an academic or athletic scholarship, but then they don't achieve no academic success at all. And I know you don't have as many sports there in Ghana, like soccer is the major, what we would call soccer, you call American football is our term, but do you have any issues like that where individuals get to go to school on academic scholarships or athletic scholarships versus academic scholarships?
Yeah, thank you very much for that question. I want to say that currently, as I speak with you, I have quite a number of my students from Ghana who have come to the USA to pursue higher education.
Wow.
And the opportunities they have to come here is based on their talents in sporting activities.
Oh, excellent.
Because my school, Tiamadia Senior High School, Kumasi, happened to be one of the leading schools as far as sporting activities are concerned. The province or regions where the school is situated currently, the school has defended the championship trophy of sports for the past 10 years.
Wow, that's a long period.
Yes, no school is able to defeat them, especially in athletics. So we produce very wonderful and qualitative students when it comes to those areas. But what we have observed is that we are individuals and we have different potentials. So if we identify a student who has a special quality in sports, we try to see how we can unearth those talents to the highest level. But in doing so, we also ensure that at least he is able to move pace with the other students academically. Though he may not, as it were, achieve the high marks as others may get, but he will move along with them in the sense that we try everything possible to arrange extra tuition, extra guidance and counseling issues to them, and letting them understand that sports is good, there is no doubt about it, but do not concentrate on only sports. Because sports, for example, involve physical strength. It is because your legs are strong now, that is why you are able to be a footballer or an athlete to run. What if tomorrow something happens to your leg and it is no more there? Where will you be?
Exactly.
So we make them understand that yes, sports is good, but do not concentrate solely on that to the neglect of your books, academic matters. So thank God we are able to get them to follow our advice, and though they may not be very good academically, but they are able to keep pace with their colleagues to get the minimum requirements. And indeed, for them to come to America here, or for that matter, other developed countries to pursue their educational interests and to polish their sporting qualities, they ask of their academic performance. So we use that to tell the up and coming ones that, see, this fellow didn't just go to America because he's a good athlete. They require his final examination passes and what have you. So if you also want to follow, then you must do something. And that advice is catching on with them. So they are trying to learn. You know, definitely we are not the same as far as our IQ and then stuff like that are concerned. Others are very good footballers, there is no doubt about it. Others are very good athletes and stuff like that. So in the school system, as we go through our physical educational issues, we try to identify them with set qualities. And we have people who now try to unearth them, polish them, and let them be at the best level that they can be. And that is indeed helping a lot.
Wow, that's because again, here in America, we have so many youth that, again, like I say, attend college on these athletic scholarships, and like I say, they depend on getting drafted in a professional sport, be it basketball, football, baseball, you know, something hockey. But it's mainly basketball, baseball, and football is the one they feel that they're going to get drafted in to make a lot of money. So they feel like they're really not going to need that degree. Then, like I said, what happens when a guy don't get drafted? Now he don't have a degree, but nothing to fall back on. Didn't excel to try to do that. And that's something I always tell my grandchildren, that don't worry about the athletic portion of it. Worry more about the academics. And I can think of a few professional athletes who did obtain their degrees, played a few years, and walked away while they were still healthy and said, now I have a degree in this field to fall back on. I've got enough money now that I've made in 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 years, and I'm still healthy enough to walk away with my health. And the rest of all of my product is going to be fed well now off of this. So now I can go and do what I really went to school for. You hear some people say, promise their parents, oh, I'll go back to school. I'm going to leave college early, but I'll go back. And they never ever go back, you know. And that is one of the biggest problems here in America. So now with the ones that come over here for sports, are there any individuals that have come here for sports and excelled in sports and not got any degree that you know of, or decided to do other things?
So far, those who have come, they are able to go through their educational pursuit very well, and they are also able to step up their performance in sports to the extent that good number of them represent the country when it comes to certain international sporting events, like the recent Olympics that took place in Australia. About 2 or so of my old students were part of the Ghanaian contingent. They are in the USA here, pursuing their education and then participating in sporting activities for their respective institutions or universities here. But they have polished themselves such that when it comes to such events, they go and justify themselves at the country level, and they are picked because their performance is at a high level and they represent the country at such levels. So for now, up until now, my students who have come here are able to go through their educational pursuits very well and also able to polish their athletics competencies. I don't know, but for some reason, they have seen that when they leave Ghana and come to the US here, they find learning here more easier for them and embracing as against when they were in Ghana. In other words, the truth is that here the facilities are there more than we have over there. So in learning, therefore, they don't just learn abstracts, but they have material things that they practice on, they observe and stuff like that, that make their learning smoother and easier for them compared to when they were in Ghana. So generally, therefore, those of them who are able to come here excel in the educational pursuits.
That is really awesome. Yeah, see, because the average person in America would think, oh, I go to Ghana and I can get a PhD, Willies, I can do this, I can breeze through their system. See, but that's again the mentality that people in America are given. You know, and it reminds me. I remember when I was growing up in the '60s, the school system, and they always said, "Yeah, America got the best schools. Our schools are better than all these countries and all this." Then I got in junior high school, which is considered middle school, and when the school I went to in grade school, there were no Asians. But when I got into middle school, there were a lot of Asians. These kids were 4.0, straight A's. Right? Even in high school, straight A's. And then I started realizing, wow, these Asian students are excelling way far ahead of the American students. That's right. And then you started talking to some of them, and they talked about what their culture was like, what the structure was like for education, you know. And even Japan, I remember when we dropped the bomb over there back during World War II, Japan said, we know we could never defeat United States physically as a global power, but economically is how we can. Now we see all the electronics, all the gizmos, all the stuff, where they come from, Japan. Right. We depend more on Japan and China for all the technology stuff than we do right here. Even the cars, you know. Right. You look at the Lexus, you know, you look at all these other cars, these cars that everybody wanted to, they come from over there, that region of the world. And I always point that out to you. I say, don't think that America is the top of the chain when it comes to education, even though we have your Harvards, you know, we have your Brown, we have Yale, some of it is, but these other countries have education as just at a higher level. And a PhD, I don't care if you get it here, Ghana, whatever, a PhD is a PhD. That's right. You know, it's that individual himself is going to excel over another individual. And I tell people, like somebody went to Marquette University, somebody go to just a technical college, but he get the same degree, and somebody say, oh, that guy from Marquette is probably going to breeze, he's going to get hired, but he walked around, I didn't get hired. Who got hired? Well, that guy who went right on the technical school, but when he took the test or whatever he did when he took the interview, he amazed them more than what I did. They said, wow, his knowledge and his level of what we're trying to hire an individual for is much higher than this guy's right here. Even those guys went there, and I've known some guys who said they sent their kids to college, and man, I spent $120,000, $140,000 on my son in order to go to school, but can't even get a job in the field, and they're hiring this guy from over here, this guy from over there. And I said, well, did you ever think that maybe that guy is really just than your son? You know, just don't think about that he went to Marquette University Law School, and this guy over here went to Joe Blow's Law School, but they both got law degrees. Now that guy, he know how to present himself better. And his understanding of law is better than your son. So that's what you got to look at. Maybe your son was partying a little bit too much. So you got to think about those type of things like that. And unfortunately, that's how it is in society. Hey, again, I'm here with Imam Abu Bakr from Ghana. So if anybody would like to call, the number again is 800-949-4752, extension 735. That is 800-949-4752, extension 735. You know, again, you know, Malcolm X said that back in the 60s, if you don't have education, you're not going nowhere. That's right. Absolutely nowhere. That's right. Now, and when he said this, he was saying this to the black community, or the African American community, African American, say whatever you want to say. This is what he said. Some took heed of that. There was a time in the 60s and the 70s, there were so many people of African descent that were excelling in education, even in the early 80s. But now, the new millennium, they seem to slacken off. Because what happened, these kids say that, no, I don't want a job making minimum wage. I want a job that's starting off with $30 an hour. Well, guess what? You don't have no education. You know, so that's where it starts at right there. And again, I say I blame it on these parents. Because, you know, any building is only as strong as its foundation. You can have 4 walls. Those walls are going to crumble if that foundation is not strong. So if the parents are not strong, if they're not involved in who their kids are interacting with, what the kids are doing in school, all those things like that, everything, the kid is going to fail. And the parent needs to look at their self first. And again, here in America, parents are becoming their kids' friend before they become the parent. They want to, they want to party with the kids. Oh, you okay? Yeah, you're old enough to drink. Let's go out to the club together. Wow. You know, those are the things that happen here in America. You know, everybody want to party with the kids. Kids can't wait to get 18. Or another one of the biggest problems here, especially in the African American community, is is we set our kids up for failure because we say, I can't wait till you get 18 so I can put you out of the house. Or I can't wait till you graduate high school so I can put you out of the house. Instead of saying, hey, you can stay here as long as you are going to for an education, you can stay here rent free.
That's right.
I'm going to pay all the bills that I can for you to make life easy for you. All you focus on your education. Don't worry about this. Don't worry about that. You know, I'll go with it. I had a friend who did that. I remember the guy told me, and he married a young lady. She already had the kids, but he helped her put those kids through college. He said, man, I ate a lot of bologna sandwich and tomato soup. A lot of people didn't know. So, man, I was struggling, but I wanted to put my daughters through college. And he could send them his daughters, and they all got PhDs, doctorate degrees, and they're all doing excellent today, though. You know, I commend him, and I commend any parent who says that, you know, in order for my children to be better than what I had, I'm going to sacrifice, I'm going to have less so they can have more.
That's right.
Because you want every generation to have more than the next.
Very good.
You know, and that's what the same thing that my parents did. And I can remember getting ready to graduate high school, and we never talked about education. And I signed up to go in the Navy. And I came home and told my parents when I signed up to go in the Navy, they were shocked. I said, we were trying to save money for you to go to college. I said, well, we never talked about it. You know, they said, well, yeah, but we, you know, punched a little here, pinched a little bit there, we scraped and scrounged, and we thought you really wanted to go to college. But the good thing that worked out is I ended up going to the Navy, got a good trade, worked 33 years. They took that money and was able to buy a down payment on the home, and they still own that home today, so it really worked out for us. But, you know, in the same thing, I was able to help my daughters, you know, to go to college and everything of that nature. So that is the beauty of each generation having to make sacrifices.
Yeah. So maybe it's the social setting that we have, as you rightly said. But from where I'm coming, our social setup is such that we still take responsibility for our children until the child is well established in life. Well established in life in the sense that when the child is still schooling, it's the responsibility of the parents, regardless of the age. Absolutely. When the child has even completed schooling and hasn't got a job yet, the parent still sees the child as his or her responsibility to be under his shelter, and he still takes care of the child until the child gets a good job, and the child at a point feels that, Dad, I think I'm now okay. With your permission, I would like to also go and rent or have my own apartment somewhere and stay. Then they come into that understanding and the child grows. So our system is not such that when the child hits 18, you tell, hey, you better find your levels. That is not found in our setting at all.
Wow.
Yeah, so because of that, that type of fatherly love and parental care and that kind of social concern is very strong amongst us back in Africa, where I'm coming from now. To the extent that the child knows that the father would only relieve him or ask him to settle somewhere when he is well established. Yes. Until that time, the father sees the child as his responsibility to take care of and to make sure that he settles the child somewhere very well. So that also grows with the child as he's growing up. When the parents eventually become very old and are now depending on the child, the children also see it as their responsibility to make sure that they take care of their parents to any level you can think of. A typical example as we speak, my mom is with me. My mom is almost hitting her 80 years. Wow. She came and stayed with side here for some years, as you remember. She's currently in Ghana and she stays with me. At any given time she wants, she can go and stay with the other children too. And we are competing. In fact, we are proud that our old parents are coming to stay with us. Because we see it as a blessing for us to be able to serve them just the way they served us when we were also in tender age. And this goes in line with the teaching of Islam. So maybe we need to let our society here understand that some of the approaches that we adopt has some consequences that may not help us. Because when the child gets to know that you are trying to push him out because he's 18 years, then he starts to form some kind of That's right. So I think those are some of the good things that we have over there that we will encourage you those from here to come over there and come man. And that is indeed our African way of life. Exactly. It's our African way of life. Go.
Hey, again, I want to thank my brother, from another mother, El Hajj, missionary Imam, Yaqub, A.B. Abu Bakr, for joining us on the show today, giving us an insight on what education is like in Ghana. So, for those of you who, wanted to know, now you know. Because, again, a lot of you always look at America as being the upper echelon of the best universities, the best schools. But you can see people excel all around the world if you want to. So, I would like to thank you for supporting us here at Islam Live. Remember, every Tuesday I'm over at Collectivo Coffee, 2999 North Humboldt Boulevard for Coffee, Cake, and True Islam from 7 p.m. to 8 p.m. Come out and join me. We have Juma here at the mosque every Friday, Baitul Qadir from 1 to 2 p.m., 5600 West Fond du Lac. So come out and join us. Do you have anything you'd like to say to the people before we close?
Well, for now, I want to express my gratitude and thanks for giving me this opportunity to also share some few things with them. And that's so far so good. I'm happy with what I'm seeing around me. Milwaukee is a very peaceful place, and people are sociable. And you walk on the street of Milwaukee, it's like you're in Africa, because you see quite a lot of your fellow blacks around, and you greet yourselves, and the place is generally nice, and I think I'm happy, and I'll carry good memories back to my country in Ghana when I finally go back by the ending of this month. So I'm happy to be with you here. It's been a good and worthwhile time spent.
And we appreciate you coming.
Thank you very, very much.
Okay. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, my brother.